Most people remember Aretha Franklin as the Queen of Soul, a powerhouse, a force of nature, a woman whose voice could move mountains and bring entire rooms to tears. But before the fame, before the crowns, before the world bowed to her talent, there was a night, a hidden, painful night that Aretha carried deep inside her and never spoke about again. A night that changed her voice forever. It was 1962, and Aretha was only 20. Still young, still searching, still fighting for control of her own life. She had begun recording with Columbia Records, but the label didn't yet know what to do with her. They put her in neat dresses, gave her neat songs, tried to mold her into something safe and predictable. But Aretha wasn't predictable. Her voice wasn't meant to be boxed in. And yet, even she didn't know the full depth of her voice. Not yet. Not until that night. Aretha had been invited to sing at a private gathering in Detroit. It wasn't a formal concert. More like a small, smoky after-hours club filled with local musicians, journalists, pastors, and political figures. The kind of place where secrets flowed as easily as the whiskey. The lighting was dim, the air thick with conversation and laughter, and the smell of cigarettes clung to everything. On stage, Aretha sat at the piano, her fingers gliding across the keys as she began to play a soft blues progression. Her voice floated above the crowd, warm, smooth, restrained. She held back, afraid to show too much, afraid that if she let go, she'd reveal too much of herself. Among the crowd that night was a man named Samuel Turner, older than Aretha by at least 15 years. Sharp suit, confident stride, gold watch that gleamed whenever he lifted his glass. He was charming in the way dangerous men often are. Quiet, observant, a little too smooth. He was a well-known political organizer, powerful, connected, influential. And when Aretha's eyes met his across the room, something shifted. Samuel watched her like he could see through her, past the voice, past the talent, into the woman she didn't show the world. Aretha felt exposed. She looked away quickly, but her heart woke up in a way she couldn't ignore. After her set, Samuel approached her backstage. "You sing like you've lived 1,000 lives," he told her. Aretha laughed nervously. "I'm only 20. "Age has nothing to do with it," he said. "You carry sorrow in your voice, the kind that comes from real pain." His words hit her harder than she expected. He wasn't wrong. Aretha had lived through more grief by 20 than most people did in a lifetime. The early pregnancies, the pressure from her father, Reverend C.L. Franklin, the expectations placed on her shoulders, the loneliness that fame never truly erased. Samuel saw it all, and that scared her and pulled her in. Over the next hour, they talked quietly near the piano. Samuel told her she needed to break free. From the label, from her father's shadow, from the expectations everyone else had placed on her. "Your voice," he said, leaning closer than he should have, "belongs to you. No one else." Aretha's breath caught. No one had ever said that to her. Maybe that's why, when the night ended and Samuel offered to walk her to her car, she didn't say no. The snow was falling lightly. Detroit felt quiet, slowed, like the world had paused to listen. They reached her car, but neither of them moved to leave. "You deserve to be loved," Samuel said softly. "Not handled, not managed. Loved." She didn't plan to kiss him. He didn't plan to kiss her. But loneliness has a way of making decisions the heart isn't ready for. One moment, they were standing in the snow, and the next, they were in the back seat of her car, wrapped in each other. Two people trying to forget their wounds through touch. It wasn't gentle, and it wasn't romantic. It was desperate. When it was over, Aretha didn't say a word. She buttoned her coat with trembling hands. Samuel reached for her, but she turned away. "What's wrong?" he asked gently. Aretha's voice cracked. "This was a mistake." Samuel frowned. It doesn't have to be. Yes, she said firmly. It does. She opened the car door, the cold air hitting her like a punishment. Samuel stepped outside. Aretha, please, she whispered. Don't make this harder. He hesitated, then nodded. Without another word, he walked away, his figure disappearing into the snowy Detroit night. Aretha sat in the driver's seat for a long time before she could breathe again. She felt sick, not because of what happened, but because of what it meant. She had crossed a line she couldn't uncross, a line that didn't fit with her faith, her upbringing, her image, her future. She cried. The kind of cry that comes from deep inside, the kind that empties you out until you feel hollow. When she finally started the car and drove home, her voice felt different. Something inside her had cracked open. The next morning, she went to the studio for a scheduled vocal session. The producers wanted a soft pop track, something clean, something radio-friendly. But when Aretha stepped into the vocal booth and sang the first note, everyone in the room froze. Her voice was raw, powerful, pain-soaked, magnificent. She wasn't singing from her technique anymore. She was singing from her wounds. The producer whispered, "What happened to her?" No one knew. Aretha delivered a performance so emotional, so unguarded, that the sound engineer had tears in his eyes by the second verse. When she finished, the room stayed silent. Aretha emerged from the booth, her hands shaking. "Is it okay?" The producer swallowed. "Aretha, I've never heard anything like that in my life." Neither had she. Her voice felt like a stranger, familiar yet transformed. She didn't tell anyone what happened the night before. She never spoke Samuel's name again. She buried the memory deep, deep inside, but it lived in her voice. Years later, when she recorded "Respect, a Natural Woman, Ain't No Way," people said her voice had a fire in it no one else could replicate. They were right. Because hidden inside that voice was a young woman standing in the falling snow, heart broken open, learning for the first time that pain could either silence her or set her free.